Good Morning Web Spiders. Today's Tuesday. It's August 16th, and this is the day that some of you have been waiting for. Now, I apologize. I should have done this on Monday. We celebrate Mondays in the web because we're so glad that you guys are back with us and so happy to see us. But you know what? We're happy to see you on Tuesday, too. So I'm going to start with the June birthdays. If you had a birthday during the summertime and we didn't get to celebrate with you, I'd like you to come down to the office after announcements, and you'll get a birthday backpack charm, and I'll get to wish you a happy late birthday. So happy birthday to Dodge Cooper, June 1st, Mrs. Bridges class. Kylie Cooper, June 2nd, Mrs. Bridges class. Chris Guerra, June 2nd, Mrs. Kinsey's class. Brianna Rediger, June 2nd, Mrs. Rector's class. Xavier Wilson, June 2nd, Mrs. Rector's class. Grace Eaton, June 3rd, Mrs. Pate's class. Jasmine Jasper, June 3rd, Mrs. Walter's class. Corinne Nicholas, June 3rd, Mrs. McGuire's class. David Sanchez, June 4th, Mrs. Taylor's class. Eli Jones, June 7th, Mrs. Pate's class. Quentin Whitehorse, June 7th, Mrs. Presnell's class. Madison Sanders, June 8th, Mrs. Williams' class. Elise Taylor, June 11th, Mrs. McGuire's class. Hannah Clark, June 13th, Mrs. Bridges' class. Luis Aguilar Sembras, June 20th, Mrs. Taylor's class. Logan McCoon, June 23rd, Mrs. Pate's class. Kinley Sanders, June 23rd, Miss Machino's class. Audrey George, June 25th, Mrs. McGuire's class. Tristan Dodd, June 27th, Mrs. Walter's class. Hope Northrup, June 28th, Mrs. Rector's class. And Noah Wilde, June 30th, Mrs. Honeycutt's class. So happy birthday to all of our June birthdays. Woo! That was a mouthful, wasn't it? And now we're moving on to July. These are our happy birthdays that happened in July. Happy birthday to Macy Clinard from Mrs. McGuire's class. That was July 3rd. On July 3rd, we also had Braxton Fulomero, Mrs. Walter's class. July 17th, Marcus Batson, Mrs. Schott's class. July 18th, Mitchell Herbert, Mrs. Rector's class. We also had Uriah Leggins on July 18th for Mrs. Presnell's class, or Miss Lazelle's class. July 19th was Layla Codd for Mrs. Comerford's class. July 19th was also Nina Jesse for Mrs. Schott's class. July 19th was also Jaden Schutz for Mrs. David's class. On July 20th, we had Adriana Haas from Mrs. Williams' class, Parker Willis from Mrs. Schott's class. On July 22nd, Reagan Hunter from Mrs. Walter's class. July 23rd, Michaela Matthews from Mrs. Rector's class. July 24th, Michael Huff from Mrs. Bridges' class. July 26th, Natalie Carter from Mrs. McGuire's class. July 27th, Victoria Sizemore from Mrs. Williams' class. July 28th, Willow Sturgill from Miss Machino's class. Also on July 28th, Abby Walters from Mrs. Kinsey's class. July 29th, Isabel Sacristan from Mrs. Williams' class. And Chandler Hounshell had a birthday on July 30th from Mrs. Comerford's class. So those are our June and July birthdays. Woo! That was a mouthful. So please come down. We'll get your birthday backpack charms. Remember, we're still talking about courage. Maybe you tried one of those things in the book that I shared with you yesterday. Maybe you just took a risk and you felt brave and you did something that maybe you've never done before. I did something very courageous. I had courage yesterday. I tackled peeling wallpaper off of a wall, and I've never done that before. So I watched some YouTube videos that told me how to do it, and I followed the directions, and it worked. So I had courage to be brave and try something new, and it turned out okay. It was a lot of work, but it still turned out okay. At this time, guys, go ahead and stand, push your chair, and we'll have a moment of silence. And now for our pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Public service announcement. Gotta put on my serious face. You guys have been doing a great job in the cafeteria at picking up your trash, although under the tables yesterday, was a mess. But we have a bigger problem in the cafeteria. Actually, we have a really big problem in the cafeteria. Kindergarten, you're doing a great job at this. Kindergarten puts their fork and their spoon in their hand when they take their tray up to dump it, so that the fork and spoon stays in their hand. Okay? So then when they get the window, they put their fork and spoon in the tray, they put their tray up in the window, and it's all good. Some of you are not doing that. First grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade. Some of you are not putting that spoon and fork in your hand, and when you go to dump your tray into the garbage can, guess what happens? You throw away your silverware. We'll see the silverware, the fork and spoon that are made of metal, are not supposed to be thrown in the trash. So if you're throwing your fork or your spoon away, you got to stop doing that. They cost a lot of money, and we can't afford to put them in the trash. And it wouldn't be any fun to dig through the trash to try to find them, would it? So when you take your tray up each day, go ahead and put your fork and spoon in your hand. Dump your tray so your fork and spoon stay really tight in your hand, and then you can put it in the window in the little basket for the silverware. That will help us, and it will save our school a lot of money. We can't throw our silverware away. So can you guys have the courage today to try something new? The way that you hold your silverware when you're taking your tray up, that could be a new thing to try, and then we'll save that silverware. So, Mrs. Williams, I hope you heard me in the cafeteria, because I wanted to make sure the kids knew that we were throwing away a lot of silverware. That's not good. Okay, let's do our creed and have a terrific Tuesday. I'm a member of the Webb family. I take pride in myself and my school. I promise to do these things every day. I will only say positive things about myself and others. I will respect and trust others. I will insist on giving my personal best. I will discuss and listen actively. I will expect and give truth and honesty. I am glad to do my part to make Webb School a place where everybody is somebody special. Make it a terrific Tuesday in the Webb, and make sure that you are doing it right.